Hey, before we get into this episode of White Heat, a wrestling podcast, let me talk to you about our good friends with Godzilla Media and Mohawk Honda. It's funny because I have a couple of friends who work at Mohawk Honda as well as some other friends work at other car dealerships, and they're talking about trade-ins, this and that, and the other thing. But when you look at their inventory lots, it's a little empty right now. That's why they're pushing for trade-ins right now, which is great for them. They start building up their inventory, and then you think it's good for you because you're getting money in your hands, but you can't turn around and buy a vehicle there because the options are so limited. You're not really going to have anything to look at these days. But if you go to Mohawk Honda, not only will they give you top dollar for your trade-in, they have acres and acres of inventory for you to choose from. So it's not just a case of where you're going to drop the vehicle off, get your money, and then go, well, shit, now what? No, you're actually going to have options to look at and choose from for a new vehicle. I have the largest inventory of vehicles in the capital region, and that means you can choose the one that's right for you. All they do is they talk about their values and, what's important to them, but Mohawk Honda, they'd rather show you their values in selection, but more importantly, valuing and how you're treated as a customer at Mohawk Honda. So don't feel pressure of buying something from another dealer because that's the best they can do after you've already traded in your vehicle. No. Go to Mohawk Honda, buy the vehicle you deserve, as their vast selection of certified pre-owned vehicles is guaranteed to fit your needs and your lifestyle, not the needs and values of those other dealerships. So this summer, selection is king, and no one has more to choose from than Mohawk Honda, Freeman's Bridge Road in Scotia, where they always go out of their way to please you. Now let's get to this episode. Hello. Welcome to episode number 8 of White Heat, a wrestling podcast. I'm Brian Cady. You can see my co-host there, JJ Alexander. You can hear him however you're checking this out. We're presented by Godzilla Media and sponsored by Mohawk Honda, where they go out of their way to please you. And we're getting this out early again this week, but not because of the fact we skipped a week and we decided to clusterfuck 2 weeks into one. No. We're going a little early this week because one of us is making a road trip, and I'm a little jealous about this. So if you're going to be in the Philly area and you're hearing this or watching this on YouTube, MLW is running their first show. I believe this is their first show post-COVID, if I remember correctly, their first live show. Yeah. So if you're in Philly, I'm assuming this is being run at 2300 Arena, the old ECW Arena, correct? So if you're there, make sure you find JJ, say hello, and shoot the shit. I know you're extremely happy and excited about this, so
very.
Yeah. And
especially because I actually contacted the venue because I'm still gimping around with the knee scooter and shit. And so I contacted them about if I could get early entry, being disabled. And I got an email back right away from the owner of the venue saying, yeah, there's a VIP doors open at 4:30. You can come in with them. Just show this email. So I ain't got to stand outside in the Philly heat for 3 hours to get in.
Which is a good thing because I can tell you right now so this is Saturday. So here in the area of New York I'm from isn't too far different from your latitude of kind of Bristol. So it's supposed to be about 80 potential for rain. So Philly, it's probably going to be about 85, 90 roughly. So I can understand why you wouldn't want to wait in line outside. So, that makes a lot of sense. Whereas, the psycho former ECW fans, they can stand outside and wait. They can let them do that. Yeah.
My crippled ass gets to go inside in the AC.
Yeah. Fuck them all. Wow. By the way, because this is what we do in our intros. You can reach out to us on Twitter if you have any smart ass comments that you want to drop within, what's the character limit these days? Like 300 characters, some shit like that, whatever.
Something like that.
at Brian Cady, BRIANCADY. He's at JJ_Alexander. And of course, you have any long-winded comments, questions, stories you want to tell, critiques, whatever. But if you do critique us, get ready for us to say fuck off. Brian.Cady at GozillaMedia.com. That's GOZILLA Media.com. We have an entertaining show to get into today. We have a very intriguing hot list today, which is to tease it, because, this is entertainment. We got to tease ahead. The topic is top 5 dream matches between current Ring of Honor talent and current WWE branded talent, which means, yes, we can branch into NXT's roster if we choose to.
Yes.
So that's going to be a very intriguing segment, I believe. But we have a bunch of shit to get to, involving a lot of different things going on. Let's just because I feel like there's a lot more stuff to get into outside of WWE when it comes to outside the ring stuff. So let's just hit on the 2 main things I have listed here for WWE real quick. The first thing, I know this is something you wanted to go into further detail about, is the news that came out, I want to say Monday or Tuesday. I can't recall exactly. But apparently, Jimmy Uso getting another DUI, and the reactions. I find there to be 2 specific forms of reaction that are. One's not very negative. It's kind of like a go-between area, and one's the complete extreme negative. The one area of people I see are those that are not happy with Jimmy getting the DUI, but are more on the caring side of it, in that, if he needs help, we hope he gets it. Just kind of supporting him, essentially, which is the side I would prefer to lean. Then you have the extreme opposite side, which I know you want to address, which is, oh my God, he's just another Scott Hall. Oh my God, he's another, I don't know,
Jake Roberts.
Trying to think of it, X-Pac, Just Incredibles. Those guys who have had their issues and took a long time to reform those issues. Yeah. I know you said you wanted to go a little deep dive into it, so by all means, I will give you the floor, and I'm going to guess I'm not going to disagree with you, so here you are.
Yeah. So here's my take on it, and I will preface this, like before, bro, by saying that how do I say this? Drunk driving is bad. I'm not going to negate that. I'm not going to negate that, drunk driving is a serious issue. That being said, covering this issue, this is the second DUI Jimmy Uso has gotten in 2 years. People forget that the first DUI he got he got dismissed as not guilty. So he got a DUI. His blood alcohol level was in relation to what the blood alcohol level is for Florida, which Florida's blood alcohol level is about 2 drinks. He admitted to the officer he had a few beers, but judging by it, looks like he had about 5 beers. It's 4th of July weekend, probably had a barbecue, had a few beers. He was completely cooperative with the officer, went, got booked, everything. Like right from the beginning, he was like, he admitted that he had a few, and he was like, something, I'll just comply. Sorry, officer. It wasn't like 2 years ago where he got volatile. And yeah, he got a DUI. He was put on a $500 bond. That's $50 to get out. Like, he was way more adult about it. And yes, like I said, DUIs are serious, but this isn't like he's Sam Houston with fucking 25 DUIs in the fucking state of fucking Texas or whatever. Like, everyone's like, oh, he has a problem. Like, if he had a problem, you would see shit like this on the monthly. It's been 2 years since the one he was proven not guilty for. Like, how many fucking second chances have they given Jeff Hardy? Seriously. Every company, how many second chances have they given Jeff Hardy?
A lot.
Like, right. And like the kid's still relatively young. Like, I don't see him needing rehab. He needs moderation, or he needs to learn how to call an Uber. Like, people are blowing it out of proportion and like, oh, he needs to be fired. Oh, they need to send him to Betty Ford. Like, no. He was 3 beers over the legal limit.
And here's a couple of things that I want to touch on real quick, the way you just said. Number one, so I feel like a lot of the uber negative reactions are because people aren't doing what you clearly did, and that's, read the fucking articles that are coming out instead of just reading the titles of the articles. Because I guarantee you, what 90% of these uber negative people are doing, they're just seeing the title of the article and going, "Oh, here we go again." They're not even bothering to read the details. That's my assumption, because we're short-minded people these days in 2021. So I know I'm correct with that statement. So y'all just need to do your proper research. Number two, it was a holiday weekend, so in all honesty, I'm not even going to think about holding this against him, because, and that's, again, this isn't to, like what you said, this isn't to try and normalize or excuse the behavior of drunk driving. It's just brutal honesty that shit like this happens. And clearly he was of a clear mindset to know to not be an asshole and to cooperate. So it was like he was drunk to the point of, like, slurring speech and not being able to walk straight and fuck you, man. Like, he wasn't at that level. So to me, we'll call it, now again, drunk is drunk, but I'll call it barely drunk. He was functional drunk. All right.
Right.
So like, it's just, I don't know. But here's the other end of it. Okay. Because you mentioned Jeff Hardy. To me, it's one thing if this happens a couple of times in your private life. When shit like that starts mixing into your professional life, and there's 2 specific examples I'm going to mention. Number one, you can think of, God rest his soul, Kerry Von Erich, because there's a high suspicion. Now, granted, I don't think it's ever been confirmed with physical evidence. Well, there's a lot of suspicion that when he did that stupid conglomerate show with AWA and all them, where he faced Lawler, that he was basically coking up all day before he got in the ring. Okay,
like bled all over the place.
That's fucking ridiculous. Okay, the second example being Jeff Hardy, and if you don't know about this, you've been living under a fucking rock, and you need to go back and look up the clip of him facing Sting at TNA for the heavyweight title, and Bischoff. So basically, it forced Eric Bischoff's hand. He had to call an audible, go out to the ring, do a bullshit 2-minute promo, so he could tell Sting, put him down and keep him down for the 3 count. And if you don't know that, go back, look the clip. It's all over YouTube. You can easily find it. So, to me, the guys who drag it into their professional lives are the ones that deserve a hell of a lot more ridicule than any of these guys who are having it happen once in a great while, and it's only a personal social issue that isn't wildly out of control. Like, there's a huge gaping difference to me. I feel like people don't know how to properly, visualize that.
Exactly.
So that's the one thing. The other thing, this is more just for my own humor. CJ Perry. Lana. Sorry. I decided to call her by her real name because she's not really Lana anymore. Sorry.
They use piped in noise.
Right. she did talk as Jericho, like, I want to say it was last week or over the weekend or something.
Something like that.
She basically made a statement saying Thunderdome fan reactions are rigged. It's like,
Do you think?
like, bitch, really? I mean, I don't even know why I'm even bringing this up, because it's not really deserving of a reaction.
Next, you're going to tell me Mr. America was really Hulk Hogan.
Or what was it? The Giant Machine was Andre the Giant.
I was just going to say.
Oh, goodness gracious. I like come on, like, what are we doing here? Or actually, I saw this clip today. The La Parka that Macho Man Randy Savage wrestled in 1997 wasn't really La Parka, it was Diamond Dallas Page. Like, I mean, or what was the who was the guy that Dean Malenko dressed as in that battle royal, the cruiserweight battle royal?
Oh fuck! It was
like Super Callow or some shit like that.
It was I think it was Cyclope.
Okay, I mean, come on, like,
yeah,
Lana, really? I mean, all you got to do, bitch, is take audio clips from 2 years ago when there were live crowds and put them next to clips from Thunderdome shows.
Yeah,
you fucking know what's live real noise and what's canned noise,
right?
Which is, by the way, that's the technical term of what they call it. It's called canned noise. If you don't know what that is, really, come on. I gotta laugh out of that. I had to. Oh, real quick. To take something that was revealed on NXT Great American Bash, which we'll get into in a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I said batch. It's bash. Holy shit, my English sucks right now. So they announced the 8-man field for the breakout tournament.
Yep.
So we've got Trey Baxter, who we've seen on NXT before, Carmelo Hayes, our boy Christian Casanova, who without knowing the inner workings of how WWE officials are feeling about the talents in this tournament, personally, because he's been on NXT twice already and had really good showings for himself, I'd assume Carmelo is the odds-on favorite to be the winner, but I could be wrong. So let's get to the other 6. Andre Chase, Josh Briggs. I feel like
Briggs.
Josh Briggs. Didn't he wrestle in Evolve? He was in Evolve for a little while before
he was the one that beat Austin Theory for the Evolve title. He was trained by Brian Fury.
Thank you. Okay. I thought I knew the name sounded familiar. Ike Manjiro, who was teaming with August Gray before August Gray got released, and now Jiro is in this tournament.
Yeah.
Joe Gacy, a name that's probably
familiar with Joe Gacy amazed me. Yeah.
Odyssey Jones, who was essentially Keith Lee with an extra 100 pounds, it seems like.
See, it's really weird it's really weird that he's in that, because they had him work a dark match against Bobby Roode, like in the main arena.
Yes, okay. And then Duke Hudson is the last name in there.
There's one person that wasn't in it.
I mean,
because somebody fucked up.
I mean, there's 2 people that aren't in there, but I wouldn't have expected them to be in there yet, just because they're so new to NXT. I'm sorry, not NXT, but the PC. But go ahead with your name.
Well, because on his fucking Twitter, like 4 days before the bash, he posted that he was going to be in the breakout tournament, and then WWE made him yank it. Fucking Ludwig Braka, fucking Parker Boudreaux.
That's one of the 2 guys I had in my head that I thought would be too soon. Really? Dumbass.
So one of 2 things happened. Either he fucked up by saying that, and so they yanked him, or they're gonna make him, or they're really gonna make him the next Brock, and whoever wins the fucking tournament is gonna get jumped by him.
Oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. The other person that I think it was too soon for, but in a way, kind of, sort of, wouldn't have shocked me. That's a sexy ringtone. Rick Steiner's son. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I just know he's Rick
Oh
Steiner's son.
yeah, that's right.
Which is interesting because I saw a picture from 4th of July weekend. It seems like him, Parker, and Carmelo are all kind of like buddy, which I don't know if I like that direction for Carmelo in personal life, but whatever. You do you. You do you, boo boo. Whatever.
I'm actually interested in the top prospect tournament this time around. The first time around, I was just like, there are a few guys in it I liked, but I was just like, and I don't agree with. We got 8 rookies, and whoever wins gets a shot at the fucking NXT champion. Like, no, they should get a shot at the North American title.
Right.
Like,
I agree.
Because otherwise you're going for a push that's not going to happen. But I mean, and the thing is, the good thing is, if you look at the people in the top prospect tournament, no matter who wins, these are the guys that are going to make up your TV for the next couple of years. These are the guys that they're going to build. Because if you look at the last top prospect tournament, everyone in there, except the guy that won it, has a prominent spot on NXT now.
See, I remember the last tournament. So who won it?
ACH won.
Ha! Oh, well.
They put their eggs in that basket, and then boom, gone. But the last tournament was fucking Swerve,
Bronson Reed.
Yep. What do you call it? Bronson Reed, Swerve, Cameron Grimes, fucking Joaquin Wilde, Mendoza. Like, that was like, all of them are prominent on NXT now.
Correct.
So that's a good way to look at it. As this is, this is kind of like when someone gets called up to the main roster,
right?
But better.
Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued just because. Full disclosure, 205 Live just wasn't my jam, so I'm interested to see Jiro. I'm interested to see what he's about. Obviously, we mentioned Carmelo. Just because I didn't get to see a whole, like, I saw some of him from Evolve. Obviously, Josh Briggs pops out to me.
Briggs is a fucking beast.
Gacy, I mean, I've only heard good things about Joey, so I mean, that's a name that obviously I'm looking forward to watching. So, yeah, I mean, this is. The more I think about it as we're talking, I think it's a little more wide open than maybe I gave it credit for originally. Because I mean, who knows? I mean, I think Gacy's the wild card in this whole thing.
Yeah,
it just depends. I think it just depends on, how much he sold himself to trainers and Hunter and Sean.
I'm amazed that Gacy and Briggs got to keep. I'm amazed that Gacy and Briggs have to keep their names.
Yeah. Well, Briggs not so much just because he got brought in from Evolve. Gacy wasn't Evolve, right? I don't remember him being in Evolve.
Not really, no. Gacy was more Combat Zone and all that shit.
Right. So, I mean, if anyone, I'd say Gacy's the more shocking than the other, just because Briggs is in Evolve and everybody kind of knows him as that. Because, like, Leon Ruff, for example, they let him keep Leon Ruff.
Yeah. Well, though they changed it and then changed it back.
Right. And then they I'm trying to think. Green was changed to August Gray, and now he's gonna be some.
He's probably gonna go back to being Retro AG.
No, he posted some video the other day, and I don't know why I saw this. It just popped up in my Twitter feed.
Yeah.
It had like all his past gimmicks listed and then scratched out. And then the bottom said the alternative. I don't fucking know. So he goes through more characters than pimps go through hosts sometimes. So who knows? Any hooser, but I think that's going to be a very entertaining tournament. And they're starting with, I think it's Jiro, and I want to say Jiro against Hudson is the first match they announced for this coming week.
Cool.
So it'll be good. They're starting with Jiro right away for interest level.
Yeah, here's an interesting side story for you. My stable, the Revelation. I had my giant Thorson Creed.
Right.
So Thorson was kind of iffy because he had major back problems that he was working on. So he wasn't my first choice, like just because of his medical issues at the time. Luckily, it got cleared. That's why I brought him in. My original giant was supposed to be Josh Briggs. But unfortunately, because he was in such high demand, I couldn't get him booked. I couldn't book him, like we talked, and I wanted to book him, but I didn't get a chance to.
I mean, the character pick made sense, obviously, just because he's fucking Josh Briggs.
Yeah.
I think that would have been some intriguing matchups. Just thinking on the other side, because you have the two gyms. Okay. Anyways, you got me wandering my mind a little bit up. What else? Oh, I know you want to go long form, talking about something else. We'll get to that. But let's touch on something related to your trip this coming weekend. I'm a hand talker. I'm sorry. So MLW is teasing with something. And I guess I'll coin with the phrase "what's old is new again." So this requires some backstory. So I'll set it up with the backstory, and then you can just for what's going on. So, as World Class Championship Wrestling was starting to fall apart from out of the ring issues with like Gino Hernandez passing away, I believe it was David Von Erich was the first one to pass away in Japan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, as WCCW is falling into bad times because of what's happening outside the ring, Fritz made a very poor creative decision inside the ring, at least for the time and place and selection. So there was this guy, and it's escaping me. If you remember the name and you want to say it, go ahead. But there was this guy that was wrestling in WCCW at the time that was embraced by the Von Erich family off screen, and was good friends with the Von Erichs, to the point where Fritz thought it was a good idea.
He was a local high school football hero.
Right. To the point where he was introduced and packaged as another Von Erich. As a Von Erich, I believe they said cousin or something like that.
Yes, cousin.
Right. So they pitched him as Lance Von Erich. Now, the reason it backfired is because, like JJ was alluding to in a bit, WCCW, granted, was televising globally, but their home base was all within the Dallas metro area.
Right.
Like, they rarely went outside that Dallas metro area, if ever, really. I honestly can't think of any shows. But anyways, they were all within that Dallas metro area. The Sportatorium was their home. So the fact they picked a local high school football star that was well known to fans in that Dallas metro area as the other Von Erich obviously didn't fly, because people knew it wasn't a real Von Erich, and the Von Erichs were a real institution down there. So that's when fans started to get even more to the point of fuck off to WCCW. So with that being said, and that backstory being set up, by the way, Lance Von Erich didn't last very long as Lance Von Erich, and that was thrown away eventually. So that being said, with that backstory provided, JJ, go ahead with the what's old is new again.
So what's old is new again is there is a long-standing feud in MLW between Ross and Marshall Von Erich, the actual sons of Kevin Von Erich, and Team Filthy, which is Filthy Tom Waller's little group, which is him and this fat karate guy. I keep forgetting his name.
Fat karate guy.
He is. He's a fat karate guy with a mullet. Something with a G. I don't remember. He's kind of forgettable. But Filthy Tom Lawler, and everything has been a thorn in the Von Erich side. And so recently joining them is a local talent, Kid Osborne. But Kid Osborne,
Dominic Guarini, by the way.
Dominic Guarini, yes. So I said something with a G. Guarini, yes. Dominic Guarini, Mr. MMA, whatever. But yeah. So local talent, Kid Osborne, has joined Team Filthy, but Kid Osborne is now calling himself Rip Von Erich, claiming he is the long lost son of Lance Von Erich. It is fucking genius. I'm dying.
So now, to me, now that see, now I'll admit, at first when I saw the graphic and the caption, I was like, ugh. Then I really started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Considering it's been 35 years,
yeah,
and I don't think a whole lot of modern day fans are really going to get that connection unless they decide to really dig deep. I fucking like it. I mean, I don't know. It's
But I mean, if they try to really dig deep, like if you watch the world class documentary DVD that WWE came out with, or even the Dark Side of the Ring on the Von Erichs, they both mentioned it. So
correct. Yeah, it doesn't involve too much digging if you know where you're looking, essentially. All right, so let's get into a new segment on the show. Now, if you've been a regular listener or viewer of this show, you are well aware of how should I put this? The general distaste we get from AEW. Or general disgust is the better word, I think. So I've decided that anytime we are going to go long form discussing AEW, whether it be one topic or several topics, we're going to coin that segment as AEWTF. Because it just works. You're taking the name of the company, you're combining it with a common abbreviation, acronym, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and boom. All Elite, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I feel like that's actually that has a good ring. All Elite, what the fuck? I like that. Just completely eliminate the word wrestling because it really isn't. Never mind. Anyways, I'm thinking a little deeper than I thought I originally was going to about that name. But anyways, so let me start with this. I'm not even sure if this actually happened on AEW or this was something you caught from Impact, but Impact is essentially AEW at this point, so fuck it, why not? Don Callis wearing the AAA belt?
Yeah, that was on Impact.
Like, it was bad enough when you had Nakazawa carrying 3 of your championship belts because you're lazy and don't want to wear 4 belts. Don? Really? Don?
Yep.
Don? Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Being jack-offs. That's what they're doing.
And then on top of that, we have... so apparently Kenny Omega decided to start looking like 2004 Triple H with the facial hair.
Uh-huh.
Now, and this goes into something you're going to mention, I'm sure you're going to mention at some point, because to much of your dismay, you actually watched AEW for a second week in a row. You watched Road Rager. So I'm sure you'll mention something that relates to this as well. The way you can tell the difference between the top dog in something and the underliers is that the underliers will talk shit to try and bring down the top dog.
Mm-hmm.
But the top dog never sees necessity to talk about the ones they're looking down to because they're already above them.
Exactly.
Example, non-wrestling. Why do you think the NFL was never worried about the USFL, the XFL, the
CFL.
AAF, the CFL? Now, the CFL succeeds on its own in Canada, and good for them, but
Yeah.
it's Canada. All they got is hockey, basically, and that's really it. So good for them. They have their own football league. Good for you. Good for you. Keep it up there.
They got a couple baseball teams still, don't they?
Yeah, but they're not. No, they have one, and they're not even allowed to play in Canada yet because of continued border restrictions from COVID from Canada. So Toronto Blue Jays, they play their home games in Buffalo, New York, where their AAA team is based right now.
Montreal doesn't have a team anymore?
No, that's in Washington, D.C. now. That's the Nationals.
Oh, okay. All right. See, I hardly watch baseball anymore. So
yes, ladies and gentlemen, he just brought up a team from 20 years ago and not knowing they got relocated. Yes, that happened.
That's how long ago that happened? Shit.
I'm pretty sure it was at least close to 20 years ago. Pardon
Damn.
See,
I knew like the Nationals came, but I didn't realize that it was the Expos that changed to the Nationals. Like,
it's all good. I'm just busting your balls. Let me see here. Hang on. All right, 2005. So 17 years.
16 years.
Well, it's 20. 20 is not that far off from 16.
Yeah. You'd still be over in the Showcase Showdown.
Yes. Without going over, I would have fucked that. Yes. And Drew would have been very disappointed in me. Where the fuck was I even going with? Oh, so like, and again, JJ will mention this, I'm sure, when he discusses what happened at Road Rager. These subtle jabs, and sometimes not so subtle jabs, being thrown out there by different AEW talents, or even by Tony Khan himself. Like, do you really think anybody in WWE is like, oh, what the fuck? Why they gotta say or do that? Oh my god, what the fuck?
Right.
They could have given two shits. You think you really think Vince McMahon is staying up in a couple extra minutes at night because he's scared about AEW, or he's scared about MLW or Ring of Honor? Fuck no. Why? Because he's a publicly traded company that's worth an obscene amount of money, more than I could ever dream of, more than JJ could ever dream of, more than pretty much anybody in the world could dream of, except for maybe Jeff Bezos. Even that might not last the divorce he's going through. But I digress. Okay, like
perfect example.
Vince falls asleep counting billions.
Yeah. For a perfect example of like when the big dog does make a jab, Chris Jericho is still fucking butthurt about Shotzi Blackheart doing the trust fall on her bed.
Christ almighty.
He is still bitching about that and claiming that she's going to get released in 6 months and come crying to AEW for a job. Meanwhile, Shotzi just had a dark match tryout for main roster.
And is one of the most over female talents right now in the company. Yeah. Not just NXT, like the whole company.
Yeah. And keeps claiming she couldn't take a fall like that. Obviously didn't watch TakeOver when they had the women's tag title match, and she took the fall off the scaffold into the fucking announce table, which was higher than what Jericho took in. No crash pad.
Crash pads. I don't want to talk about crash pads. I'm hoping to avoid that. I think we're going to avoid that this episode because I can't think of anything that involved crash pads. Thank God.
Not this week, man.
So, before we get into the discussion of Road Rager, because I unfortunately watched too much of it. You watched all of it. So we'll tag that in a second. But there's this thing that has slammed social media this week that to me is obscenely dumb to try and make connections to. Like I get I get what people are trying to accomplish by trying to connect A, B, C, all the way to Z. I understand what they're trying to connect, but they're trying a little too hard. So, some dude on Twitter decided to try and piece together
Oh yeah, that
story of Hangman Adam Page, trying to tell and convince wrestling fans that people criticize AEW for no long-term booking, yet Hangman Page is about to culminate a 3 to 4 year storyline he's been doing all the way back to when he was with Bullet Club and Ring of Honor and New Japan. Now, I will say this much. The timeline put together is at least kind of sort of halfway clever. I'll give him that. He put in some effort to this. This crotch rocket riding, mommy's basement typing guy did a halfway okay job of creating a timeline that makes sense time-wise. But JJ, I will give you the floor on this one and just step aside and let you say your piece about it.
Okay, so this guy goes and writes this huge fucking story. Well, I want to pull this up for a second. So I want to pull up.
I'll give the overview version while you're pulling it up. So basically, the overview version is Hangman M. Page is doing a whole lot of nothing, treading along in Ring of Honor. He becomes friends with the Young Bucks and essentially joins Bullet Club through them while the Bucks were booking between New Japan and Ring of Honor. He joins them in Ring of Honor, eventually goes and does some stuff for New Japan as well, where he meets Kenny Omega. Blah blah blah. They're all friends, they're buddies, and then they move on and help create AEW together. And then Page goes through the tournament to crown the first champion, loses to Jericho, and ever since then, he's just been doubting his own talent, which eventually led to losing his friendship with the Bucks. He wins the tag titles, but then continues to doubt himself, and he loses the belts and loses his friendship with Omega, and all that. And now you have what you have now, which is this Hangman Page redemption story because he found friends in the Dark Order who believe in him and believe in his talents. And all of a sudden, Hangman Page is going to save the day and beat Kenny Omega for the AEW World Title. That's as surmised of a version as I could give you of what the timeline was. There's more detail provided in this Mommy's Basement tweeter.
So he's not a Mommy's Basement tweeter. He's a writer, filmmaker, and copywriter, according to his website.
Oh, he's a filmmaker. He's a filmmaker.
He's a short filmmaker.
A short filmmaker
from London.
Short as in they're only like half-hour long films, or short as in they have a short run on Netflix and they don't even hit the box office.
I'm guessing the first.
Okay.
But anyways, so here's the thing, and people buy into this shit because someone is able to fucking do the fucking Charlie Day fucking conspiracy board to post everything together meme. I'm gonna tell you a little story. About a company I used to work for called NEFW. Later became RPW.
And now becomes no FW because it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Hey, Pop, what's up?
Which I have a funny follow-up for you, because I caught up with somebody that you mentioned a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So we'll bring that up later.
Yeah. So what happened was I was there as just a commentator for a little under a year, and then I got to pull the trigger on bringing in my fucking stable and start that going, and that was when I introduced the other manager that was in my stable to the guys that ran the company. And so then the two of us were asked to join the booking committee, which was essentially me, him, Eric, Chris Camaro, and sometimes Chris Envy. Basically, Camaro was
hold on. Time out. Come again?
Because this was before Dynasty. And Camaro was booking Envy because Envy was about to be on Wife Swap. So they were like the episode of Wife Swap where it shows Chris Envy as a wrestler and it shows him live. That was an NEFW show.
Okay, continue.
Okay, so get together and it's like basically like, oh, we want to do this, and this, and I'm like, well, here's how you can do this. Here, use it. Anytime I presented an idea, it basically got ignored. However, I would have thoughts later and I would run it by the other manager in my stable, who would then run to Eric and say that it was his idea. And thus, I was getting edged out more and more. However, I was in charge of promoting the shows online through via social media and message boards and everything when a match would be announced, because Eric would just announce matches willy-nilly. And some of these matches made no fucking, like, there was no build. My job was to try to find a way with the Charlie Day Conspiracy Board of putting wrestler A and wrestler B in situation X, Y, and Z so that somewhat of a story made sense, especially in the time of Eric. And if you hold the title, you get to choose who you work. Which is why the tag titles were hardly ever defended after he put them on Amazing Red and Brian XL. And which is why which is why I had to come up with a whole bunch of rigmarole after fucking Christian Frost refused to do the job to Bobby Ocean for the title. So they basically had to strip him of the belt, and we had to write up a story about how he was beat down and ran out of town and shit, and come up with a situation to put the title on someone else. But needless to say, for a good 2.5 years, it was announced random ass match, and I had to find a way to make it work in the storyline. To the point of, this was the dumbest shit I ever had to fucking do. I do a lot of dumb shit booking them shits. Jose Perez said he was retiring. Said he was having a couple more matches. He was gonna do a last match with us, and then he was gonna have a barbed wire match with Brickhouse Baker and be retired. Waterbury show. He works for the Mac.
I remember this.
Loses to the Mac.
Yep.
Gives a farewell address.
Right.
And then we're working on the next show, which is so that was like October, and there was a December show coming, or it was November, and there was a December show coming. Whatever. Yeah. And Eric announces a 4-way number 1 contenders for the U.S. title match, and there's Jose Perez. And I went, but he just fucking retired. And so I had to come up with this bullshit where it was like, oh, well, he only retired in Connecticut. His license in Massachusetts is still good until the end of this year. It was the dumbest shit ever. But needless to say, just because dude who's a short filmmaker can do the string to here, that doesn't mean that that's what they've been fucking doing. It's called random consequence. Random series of events is able to be put in order if you want it. It's the same thing conspiracy fucking theory people do. It's the same thing QAnon fucking people do, where they just find ways to make everything connect. Bottom line is this. They were going to put the fucking title on Page right from the beginning. Then they said, no, we want to fuck with WWE. So they put it on Jericho. And then they put it on Moxley. And then they were like, and then Kenny was like, no, I want to be at the top of the program. So they put it on Kenny. Page was always the afterthought of, you know something, when we run out of ideas, we'll go back to this. That's all it is. And you know what's going to suck? He's going to have his big match at Omega, and he's going to lose.
Well, you know why?
Because it's AEW.
Well, Yes, but no. Let's extrapolate this for a few months. Who's the most likely guy to take the belt off Kenny?
They're saying it's Paige, but I don't see anyone taking it off him because Kenny has creative control.
Think about it. I'll give you a hint. No. No. God, no, please. God, no.
Well, no, because he can't. Remember, he can't. He can't fight for the title ever again or some shit like that.
No. I'll give you a hint. They are already scheduled to wrestle each other right now.
Oh, fucking Christian Cage or Matt Hardy? No. Darby?
You bitched about him last night.
I bitched about a lot of things last night. Fuck.
All right. If you're watching the YouTube, you're going to see the last hit I'm going to give him before I just tear him a new asshole. Okay? It's a visual hint, okay?
Oh, fucking Andrade.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, it's AEW.
If you're sticking with the same vein of with the line of thinking you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And clearly they're giving a push right away because they just had him come in right away and face Matt Sydal and essentially squash him for the number 5 spot in the rankings.
Right.
What's to say he's not going to do that too? And I forget who the other guys are above him. Paige obviously is one of them.
Orange Cassidy, Jungle Boy.
Okay. And then what? Is Miro in there too?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't fucking
know.
And
Orange Cassidy's like number 2.
But you get my point.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, that's... the only reason I didn't say this before is because I didn't know how fast and how hard they were going to bring him in. But based on what I saw with Road Rager, I'd expect that match sooner than later, especially considering I think AEW is going to look at this match that him and Kenny are having at Triple Mania next month as a feeler, more or less, to see the crowd reaction.
Yeah.
Now, granted, they're going to be Mexico, so to me, it's a no-brainer they're going to get a good crowd reaction because it's Andrade and it's in Mexico. So to me, it's going to be no-brainer they're going to get a good reaction. So then the question becomes from there, what crowd do they put that match in front of on American soil?
Right.
To which I say, who the fuck knows?
Right.
Because nobody, not even WWE, really has any long-term tour booking past September at this point.
Yeah.
And as much as AEW is a fuck up of a company, I don't see them trying to push Andrade that fast into the title.
Right.
I'd say more November.
Probably.
Right in that area, holiday range, November, maybe December.
Yeah.
Because I think they usually, I want to say they usually run an actual pay-per-view in November, and then they skip December and I think they run quarterly, if I remember correctly, their pay-per-views, which have usually been, I want to say November, February, May.
Well, I think Fight for the Fallen's in September.
I know Fyter Fest is being split into 2 nights starting next week.
Right, and then
Fight for the Fallen, I want to say, is August.
Oh, August, yeah.
I'm trying to, I don't know.
No, I think it's the end of July.
Let's see here. Where are you? Well, I know it's not a Daly's place, cause July 28th. It's going to be in Charlotte.
Yeah, and that's a pay-per-view, right?
But don't think it was technically a So the way they did it was the first time when they did it for the first time in 2019, they had
It
it
was on
as
Bleacher Report for free.
correct, and they aired it on pay-per-view internationally. Last year, it was just a special episode of Dynamite.
Okay,
So
so that.
Go ahead.
All right, something else I have to bitch about AEW.
Yes, so I think Fyter Fest and Fight for the Fallen are going to be all just special episodes of Dynamite.
Yeah. Okay. So, on that note, every time NXT did a special where they did Great American Bash or Halloween Havoc or something like that on a Wednesday, or they did a takeover on a Wednesday, and it was on free, what do you call it? And it was on USA, or like night one was on USA or whatever. All you saw was AEW cocksucking fanboys sitting there going, oh, they need to do a special episode to get more people because regular episode won't draw. Meanwhile, every fucking episode of Dynamite this month is a special episode. Bullshit. They're doing the exact same fucking thing NXT did.
I don't know.
Can we mention how Tony Khan's a scumbag for fucking stiffing the pyro guys for the exploding ring?
Oh, yeah. We'll, all right, we're going to get to that in just a sec. We're going to let this, hold on, we're going to let this be like, I need to go unlock the door for my wife, so.
Oarsman dodge.
Actually, you know what? Talk about, fuck it. We'll call this a stopping point. I'll get him to edit the video. All right, hold on.
Okay. Wave hands in the air. Wave like you just don't care. Everybody say, ho, pump it up, ho, somebody scream. Mr. Puppy. Titus. Come here, buddy. How's it going? Here's your good boy. Here's your good boy. Here's your good boy. Yes, here's your good boy. Oh, your good boy. Here's your good boy. It's all right. Okay. You're a good boy. Yes, you're a good boy. It's okay. You're safe. Yes. You're safe. You're safe. It's okay. Oh, buddy, it's okay. It's okay. Yes, you're a good boy. Yes.
You're a good boy. You're a good boy.
Titus has been a Titus. He has been a ball of nerves. He's been a ball of nerves for days. Between the fireworks and the thunderstorms, this poor guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was a hell of a lightning show last night.
Uh-huh.
I was laying in bed trying to fall asleep. I'm like, either that's somebody doing fireworks a long ways away, or that's some fucking lightning. And that was definitely lightning.
That's why I only got an hour's sleep. I was tending to him, and just because that shit didn't die down till like 4 a.m.
All right. So what I'll do is, whoa. So I'm just gonna timestamp. I'll set a timestamp to Tom about,
yeah,
what to cut out.
Uh-huh.
Because he has He has a video editor. I don't. I can do the audio. I can't do the video. So
Gotcha.
all right. So yeah. Okay. So all right. So let me get to. All right. So, time in. Oh yeah. So let's get into that. Go ahead.
This motherfucker already changed his story like 4 times.
He basically, the way I heard the story, and you can tell me if you heard a different version, because that'll be interesting, because that'd be 2 different versions within less than a week. The version I heard was he was doing some interview. I want to say it was on Busted Open with SiriusXM with Dave LaGreca and Bully Ray.
Yeah.
And he essentially said, we were so disappointed in what we received, I asked for a refund. That's essentially the version I heard.
Yeah, but then they're saying that then he was saying that they did tests the day before to see how it would look, and they did 3 tests and they all looked fine, but then the day of, because of the wind or some shit, it was a dud. So he demanded a refund. I'm like, no, you tested it and you looked at that shit and went, that's okay. And then when there was backlash, you were like, that wasn't my fault. That was the pyro guy. So I'm going to stiff him on $100,000 fucking check. That's how much that he owed them. $100,000.
Because that's what small business really needs right now, is being stiffed on $100,000 check in the end of a pandemic.
So now Tony Khan has been called out on stiffing pyrotechnics people and indie workers. Because there's quite a few indie workers who worked fucking AEW Dark who are supposed to get a $300 payday and got stiffed.
Oh, I can't stand this shit anymore. Hence why, from now on, when we do our bulk talk about AEW, it will be called AEWTF.
On that note, I'm going to say this because I'm tired of like having to vent about it, but I'm just going to say this so it's on record here on fucking the internet at large. But if you are an indie worker and you worked a fucking squash match on AEW Dark, that don't mean shit. Because you got a $300 check from Tony Khan does not mean that you can bilk indie promoters into paying you nearly that much.
True. Very true. Very, 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 very true. All right, so to kind of put a cap on everything with this AEW TF segment, you watched all of Road Rager. I watched to the point of I couldn't take it anymore, which was essentially up to the commercial break before the tag title match. So here's my grind. My gears were grinded within 2 minutes of the show starting.
My gears were grinded within 10 seconds.
Okay.
JR said the wrong day.
I missed that. I turned it on after they did
He opened it up with, well, it's Tuesday. You know what that means. Obviously trying to do a Brody Lee reference, but it was Wednesday.
Oh, Jim. Okay. So that's 2 fuck-ups in a week. Terrific. So, here's what grinded my gears. And I get what happened. Like, I know enough about what was going on in the main event that happened last night. Okay. But I still hold to this truth. Cody and QT, regardless of the fact that we were both shitting on QT during the match with each other, because of the angle involved. Now, obviously, the way they booked the whole show, my belief kind of sends that whole booking of the show into clusterfuck, given what happened later.
Mm-hmm.
You took what was for that show that night, you took the hottest angle of that show and you opened the fucking show with it.
And not only that.
So essentially you said to your TV audience, okay, you saw the most important match. See ya.
Not only that, QT got the fucking jobber entrance.
Yeah,
literally,
I noticed that
with
too.
Cody as Homelander, and then while Cody's walking to the ring, they're like, and his opponent, QT Marshall. Just fucking sitting there like, really? Gee, I wonder who's winning this.
Yeah. That that whole situation was very bothersome to me.
Plus, I don't get how the announcers can't get his fucking name right. It's QT Marshall.
And they're trying to make a whole sub angle out of that, which is fucking stupid. But I don't know. Just because I know that like Shivani and JR, they talked about it a little bit like a week or two prior about how QT wants to be called QT Marshall now.
That's been his gimmick since ROH.
I know. I fucking know. I know. Trust me, it's bugged me the entire time he's been in AEW wrestling too. I get it. And then, halfway through the match, QT double blocks a shot into the post, and then all of a sudden, 30 seconds later, oh, he's bleeding. That's cute. Like, if the point of the spot is to make the guy juice, why the fuck are you picking a camera shot which plainly shows the double hand block of the move?
Because their production crew sucks. Here's the prime example, the overall of their production crew sucks. They thought this out before going on tour. They put hard cam on the entranceway.
Yeah.
Literally, you're seeing the backs of people's heads. The managers come out because they have to come out on that ramp, and then you're like, first thing I fucking learned as a manager. First thing I fucking learned after bumping and feeding and all that shit is if you are a manager, you never get on hard cam side. What happens? During it, fucking Murder Hawk comes out. Oh, look, it's like Jake Robert just poof appeared out of nowhere, and you see the back of his head on fucking hard cam. Why? That's where the fucking entranceway is.
So I managed, between the different companies I did managing at, I managed about around a half dozen matches. Now, you would think, given the person, and I don't know if you've heard of the company, it was called Ultimate Wrestling. They're based out of the central New York area.
Uh-huh.
So that was where I did my first gig managing a match. I did it as a favor for my buddy who was testing out a new gimmick, and it happened to be at that show.
Yeah.
So before he decided to give up indie wrestling altogether, which that's a whole other story for another time. But anyways, so he's testing a new gimmick and wanted to have a mouthpiece manager, which I like running my mouth. I'll do that.
Right.
Plus, I knew I could do well, if given tips here and there. So before the match, nobody says shit to me. Everybody in the locker room, including the booker, basically just assumes I came with managing experience. Nope. So sure enough, so the match goes off. So sure enough, I come backstage. And Booker Man goes, "You did a great job, kid. But just do yourself a favor. Make sure you know where hard cam is next time so the back of your head isn't there." And I'll be honest, that was like, because I'm not used, because obviously in radio, you're not in front of camera. Right. So the last thing in my mind going out there is, where's the hard cam? Even though having been in indie wrestling for about a year at that point, that should have been a thought in my head. But again, I had only been in indie wrestling as a ring announcer at that point. So, like, I'm not completely putting 101 in my head before going out there. Right. And trust me, from that point forward, I made sure I was opposite hard cam side or on the side. I was never on the same side as hard cam. So, like, whatever. What else? I'm just kind of going through our messages. I'm trying to remember anything else from the first hour, really. Oh, do you like did you like the ceremony they had for Jungle Boy?
The participation trophy?
I mean, fuck off. What are we doing here? We're giving out trophies for 50 wins? But have you seen Randy Orton get honored for having 2,000 matches yet in WWE?
Right.
Like, what are we doing? Like, what
like,
really?
Like, the only time that anything like this happened before was, like, Hogan and Andre, when Hogan got the trophy.
And then Andre came out of Piper's Pit, yeah.
Yeah, and Andre got the title for being undefeated for so long or whatever. But, I mean, like, seriously, they gave the kid a fucking participation trophy. Like, yay, you got 50 scripted wins. And you lost the match that counts. The fuck?
Yep.
There's people online that are like, oh, this is so they can set up Luchasaurus being jealous and turn heel on him. Like, no! They're not even thinking of that. They're just literally like, hey, you're dating some hot celebrity chick and you're the son of a dead celebrity. Here's a participation trophy.
I mean, he's dating a hot chick, but she's no celebrity.
I don't know who she is. I just figured because, like, everyone knew her name that, like, she was semi-famous.
Who Jungle Boy is dating?
Yeah.
He's dating another wrestler on the roster.
Oh. See, this is fucking...
He's dating Anna Jay from the Dark Order.
Oh, okay. See, shows how much attention I paid to AEW.
That's because she's been injured, by the way. Or she just came back. One or the other. I can't remember. But anywho,
I hope she came. Jungle Boy gonna need a participation trophy for that too. At least you tried.
Me becoming speechless has become about a 2 per show regularity at this point. That's number 1 for this week.
Jungle Boy can't get it up. Has to tag in Marco Stunt.
Marco can't reach, so they have to tag back in.
Jurassic Express train.
Oh God! Oh goodness gracious! So Britt Baker, whose boyfriend happens to be
Adam Cole.
Whose boyfriend happens to be Adam Cole. Britt decided to take a jab at WWE, mentioned something about blood money and then Saudi Arabia. That's nice.
Real fucking smart.
That's fucking nice.
Like, literally no need for her to take a jab at WWE. No
of
need.
all people, no need for her.
Right.
Just saying. Did you take issue with the La Sombra mask, or did you just mention it for shits and giggles last night?
This is my issue, because I brought it up a few weeks ago when Andrade first fucking debuted, because all the fucking fanboys on the internet we're defending Andrade and being like, well, obviously you never saw his work in Japan or in Mexico when he was in La Sombra. And I'm like, yeah, and you know something? Why the fuck didn't he just come to AEW as La Sombra? If they want to fucking push his Japanese and his Mexican fucking careers, why keep him with his WWE name? Why? Because you got to fucking associate with WWE instead of trying to be fucking original. Even though you're trying to sit on the back of, well, he was La Sombra. And then you have him come out in the fucking La Sombra mask? Fucking seriously? First thing, because nobody knows, like the people, casual fans don't know who are watching it going, is Andrade part of the Dark Order now?
You're kidding me, right?
Yeah, I saw that post numerous times.
Oh, people kill me.
Like, this is the thing, and it goes into something that happened a little later in Road Rager, is if you want to stand on your own, have these characters have their original fucking gimmick names, not a fucking shoot-off of their goddamn WWE name. Fucking Tommy End shows up. Right, Malachi Black. fucking seriously? And fucking stupid ass Excalibur is calling him Tommy End on fucking commentary, and then he's like, but that's not Tommy End. Shut the fuck up. And plus, I love how they're having him still sell the fucking eye from fucking Seth Rollins. Like, really? Like, you're supposed to be new. Like, literally, Tommy End has been doing so much shit on Instagram and fucking social media, pushing himself as Tommy End again for them to be, no, it's Malachi Black. And we know that he went after Cody. So what does that mean? We're going to get another 3-month program where Cody goes over at the end and fucking Tommy End ends up being on fucking AEW Dark.
Oh man. What else are we?
But I love how there's like, who was Cody Berry? Did you not watch the beginning of the show? QT Marshall, his fucking feud for the past fucking year, got the jobber entrance.
Last thing I want to bring up is the main event, which you watched, I didn't, and the reason I didn't is because I had a DVR, so I was going to watch the match this earlier before we went on the air, and when I scrolled through Twitter and saw what the finish was, I said, fuck that, I'm not watching it on my DVR. And this is an inherent problem with the fact that you have the Elite, essentially, more for lack of a better phrase, as EVPs with creative control.
Yep.
Why the fuck? Like, if it was a new trademark finish for them and they were doing this like every match,
yeah,
I'd be okay with it, I suppose.
Yeah.
But when you're doing a blow-off rivalry match, and I'm not necessarily saying that the Eddie Kingston stuff is done with the Young Bucks. When you're doing a big blow-off match like they did last night with Eddie and Penta, why the fuck would you recycle a finish from your most recent blow-off a couple months earlier with Daniels and Kazarian? For those who didn't watch, let me explain. For those who don't know, let me explain. The first time I heard about this spot and actually saw it was back when the Young Bucks were in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, which is coming back August 1st, by the way. For those who want to watch real wrestling, not named WWE, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla back August 1st. Anyways, so they're running in PWG a few years ago, and they had this, I don't know if they called it a death match with Joey Ryan and Candice LeRae, but whatever. So it was essentially a hardcore, it was essentially a no DQ match against Joey Ryan and Candice LeRae for the PWG tag titles. And one of the spots they did was they put thumbtacks in, I believe this was Candice's mouth for this match, and super kicked the shit out of her. And the one thing they did in this match they haven't done in the other two was they also had tacks on the bottom of, I believe it was Nick Jackson's boot when he super kicked her, which took it to a whole nother fucking level of dumb shit, but whatever. So now fast forward to Daniels Kazarian match a few months ago. They did that to Daniels with the thumbtacks in the mouth to win that match. And then on Road Ranger, they did the same fucking spot with Eddie. Like,
because they're not original.
Like this bugs me worse than the 3 music inclined finishes in 1 week from WWE.
Yeah.
And the reason it bugs me more is because I can't explain it. It's just, it's dumb. It's fucking dumb. Because if you do it as a one-off spot, which it should be, okay, fine. You do it once in a match where it really matters, and that's it. I get it. But when you're doing a dangerous spot like that now with regularity, you're now fucking around with karma. You're fucking with God at this point. Because, God forbid, something happens to that person you're super kicking, with the thumbtacks in their mouth. Like, I'm trying to remember where. This is actually the third time it's happened in AEW, because they also did this in one of their first pay-per-views when they had a triple threat between Janela, Darby, and Jimmy Havoc. They put
that was the Cracker Barrel match.
Yes, they put thumbtacks in Havoc's mouth, duct taped his fucking mouth shut, and super kicked him with the thumbtacks in his mouth. So it's really the third time this spot has been done in less than 2.5 years.
Yeah. But, WWE does the same shit all the time.
Does anybody pay attention? Anybody? Like, this is what it comes down to, okay? There is clearly not enough checks and balances within creative in this company. And the longer this goes on, the more dumb shit that's going to happen, and eventually lead to fans taking the 1.5 million number that Raw draws and making it 2.53 million again. And the more they'll take the numbers from SmackDown that they're getting on Fox and up them by another 500,000 to 1 million viewers, because they're going to drive people away by doing the same dumb shit over and over again without real explanation or cause.
Right.
I don't know. It's just dumb shit.
Yes, I agree. And like the other shit that happened on AEW, like they had the dude from America's Top Team like shit talk AEW, and I was just like, this motherfucker's spitting. And like, because
the thing is, you have him say shit that's true, but you don't want to admit it's true. And then you're basically setting up for Lance Archer to come up and powerbomb him. Right.
And the thing is, like, so they're going to set up Lance Archer versus whoever this guy brings in. It doesn't matter who he brings in, because all the good America's Top Team guys go to MLW.
God. That's it. I'm not saying Court Bowers is dumb, but I'm going to throw the idea out there. Is there potential for a partnership between MLW and AEW?
No.
Where potentially, I'm gonna throw out the one name. You already mentioned it in the show. Who's the one guy that you think would come in and give that kind of match to Lance Archer?
Tom Lawler or King Mo?
Somebody in the AEW family where he fucked up that experiment. It's called Impact Wrestling. No.
There's that other top team dude that MLW's got. Looks like he looks like Gangrel and Viscera had a kid. Hold on, I'll pull it up.
I know who you're thinking of. It's I saw the name earlier.
I got it. Hold on. He's I just gotta scroll down here a little bit. Because
Kevin Koo, is that who you're thinking of?
No, not Kevin Koo. No. Hold on, let me find this kid. Here he is. He got drafted. Alex Kane.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, sorry, I'm not looking at you. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Alex Kane.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, all the good American top team guys are taken.
I'll just look at the MLW roster real quick, by the way.
Yeah.
Colonel Robert Parker's still around.
They just brought him in, and I think that's fucking great.
I don't know.
That's nostalgia shit right there, man. Savio Vega's still on the active roster in MLW, and it's wonderful.
I gotta think about that one. What the fuck is Simon Gotch doing, by the way, with this fucking mask with the never mind. I'll shut up.
It's because he's with Contra Unit, so he's looking like that because Contra does all the fucked up shit.
Because he's retarded. Okay. Anyways, all right. So let's clear out this banner. Good. Thank you. Goodbye. Let's get into WWE programming quick. Just looking at SmackDown from the go home for the 4th of July weekend, we'll call it, I guess.
I missed it. I was at the movies.
nothing really stood. I mean, Edge's promo. Edge always does a good promo, so that's nothing new.
Yeah.
Bailey and Bianca had a segment where they basically set up an I Quit match now for Money in the Bank.
Zelina Vega came back and got in the Money in the Bank match.
Right. Owens beat the shit out of Sami Zayn. That was expected, basically.
I was expecting Sami to go over in that.
Because the karma thing. Yeah, I know. Karma is coming. Sorry. So basically, are they at the point where they're just gonna have Liv Morgan beat all the SmackDown Money in the Bank representatives on the women's side until they eventually say, "All right, fuck it, get in the match"? Is that essentially what we're doing here?
Right, because literally all the SmackDown women's entrants have just been like, "You're in." They didn't have a qualifying match like the ones on it. They're just like, "You're in."
Right. They announced Carmella, then Liv beats Carmella. They announced Zelina Vega, and then Liv beats Zelina Vega. I'm trying to think of who else I could possibly throw in the match at this point that's from SmackDown.
That's
That's how small the women's roster is at this point. Yeah. Obviously, you're not doing Bailey or Bianca.
Right. Not unless Sasha comes back.
Oh. But you're really going to have Liv go over Sasha? Well, maybe. Just because Liv's been there and they're trying to...
I don't know. Possibly. See, the thing is, I don't even think they'll have Liv go over Sasha. I just think they'll announce Sasha and Liv come out and be like, "Listen, like either put me in or I fucking walk." Like,
to which I'm sure Vince would be like, "You could walk. That's okay."
I mean, yeah, the women's Money in the Bank match just looks lackluster.
Here's the thing I want to bring up, though. Obviously, clerical errors led to this with Tommy.
Yeah.
I find it intriguing how they brought back Zelina.
They brought her back. The thing is, they brought her back like a month ago. They just didn't have her on TV. They brought her back when he was still signed.
I don't know. That's interesting. So, by the way, to clear this up, I know we got through the AEW segment. To fine tune what I mean by clerical error. So, essentially, here's the story. So, when you get signed to NXT, you're given a 30-day no-compete on your contract as an NXT superstar / trainee. If you are then promoted to main roster, they typically restructure the language of your contract so that they then give you the 90-day no-compete clause that a WWE main roster star would get.
Yeah.
Somehow, this was missed. It was missed by WWE HR that this was not done for Tommy's contract. Therefore, when he was let go, he still had just a 30-day no-compete clause, hence why he could appear at Road Rager.
And he's been on the main roster for a while. It's been a couple of years. So that's a bad fuck up.
Yeah, that's a really, really bad fuck up. Jimmy and Edge end the show. That was building from the whole show.
There's something really like, you look at the Money in the Bank match for the men, there's 2 spots left. All 6 entrants are fucking baby faces. There's no heels in that match yet.
And they're probably from SmackDown, so let's think about this.
It's going to be 2 more from SmackDown, yeah.
Maybe Apollo and they feed.
And I would hate that. I would hate if Apollo's in there, because if you're Intercontinental Champion, you should not be in the Money in the Bank match. Sorry.
I agree, but they've always had at least one champion, it seems like, in there. I don't know why. It just seems to be not always, but a good amount of the time they've had a lower.
They've already got AJ, and no, AJ's not in it. Sorry.
My guess is they'll probably feed Corbin into it because they don't have anything else for him.
I think they're going to put a Nakamura.
Otis, maybe. Again, I'm not saying I like it, but they are pushing the shit out of him as this new monster butterbean heel.
And they need a guy to catch. So, but I put Nakamura in there too.
So 7 baby faces and a heel.
It's already uneven. So just if you're gonna go full bore, go full bore.
I'm trying to think. Is it 7 baby faces? Hold on. Drew, Riddle, Ricochet, and who's the other one from Raw?
Fuck.
Oh, it's Morrison. There's a heel in there.
Oh yeah, never mind. Well, still.
But
you've got 2 spots left. So you've got 5 baby faces and 3 heels max. So you're still uneven.
Right. Because then right now you have Owens and Big E. So you have 5-1 right now. Yeah. I still think Otis, just because that just seems to be
someone to catch
right now.
Yeah.
And then who knows the 8th spot at this point?
Nakamura. King Money in the Bank.
Oh, wait, no. The Seth Cesaro match next week is going to be...
Oh, it's a qualifier?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So my guess is they might put Seth over there.
No, they'll put Cesaro in there.
Why?
Because we don't need Seth as the Money in the Bank guy again. We need something fresh. I think that's what they're finally realizing is they need something fresh. They need someone to win Money in the Bank that hasn't been stuffed down our throats in the main event.
Here's something fresh. Just have Seth beat Roman at SummerSlam. There, that's fresh.
No, it's not. That's stale as fuck. That's staler than this box of cheese that's been sitting in my fucking basement.
Listen, it's different than seeing Roman just dominate everyone for 10 months.
That's what a good monster heel champ does.
Okay. Forget it. Go to Raw. Miz TV to start the show. Whatever. Morrison wins by a countout. Oh boy, Morrison wins by a countout.
They're protecting both guys.
Yeah,
they're protecting both guys in that, which is good.
Right. You're not. That's not the last time you'll hear the phrase "countout." By the way, for this show. Nia, Shayna, Eva, and Piper, aka just Eva, they beat the other team of 4 girls. Who cares? Ali and Mansoor, I don't know or care what they're doing there. Drew wins by DQ because the tag team he's managing comes in.
And then we're back to early 90s WWF booking. I stole your prop. Now we feud.
Poor Dominic. Oh, God. Or Chris. Whatever the fuck you want. Poor Chris. Whatever you want to call him. Chris, Dominic, whatever. Fucking Dorado and Bear Metalik go over Mason T-Bar.
Oh, yeah. It's
poor.
I don't know. They need to stop with the Mason T-Bar shit. Dio Madden still needs fucking fine-tuning and let Dijakovic go back to being Dijakovic. Like, stop trying to make them the powers of pain. It's not working, especially when you have them job. You're turning them into the fucking Ascension when they got brought up to the main roster.
By the way, I have a roster question once I finish this. Okay. Riddle beat Styles with... Was it a... it was a roll up or something because the Viking Raiders distracted. Right, they attacked Omos.
Yes, because that's what happens every week. There's a something on the outside and there's a roll up on the inside. It is so fucking cliche now.
They decided to have Charlotte and Rhea Ripley try to do some kind of
crutch fight
with like something out of oh fuck, it's escaping me. I can't remember the name of the movie. I'll think of it. Oh, Monty Python. Some kind of stupid Monty Python type of shit that they would do with crutches instead of swords. Just a flesh wound. Riker and R-Truth beat Elias and Cedric by countout. Because God forbid Elias loses any other way.
Why was fucking R-Truth in there? I don't fucking understand that. Like, shouldn't it have been? That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Or Shelton. Like,
maybe they couldn't find Jeff. If you were paying attention early in the episode, you might understand the reference I'm making. Maybe they couldn't find it. Anyways, that was very dark of me to mention. Main event, Kofi and Woods go over Lashley and MVP. And may I say, listen, MVP on the mic, fine. Managing, great. In the ring right now,
yeah.
Let's lay off that a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's just rushing back from the knee or if he really has just lost the touch because he's had a lot of ring rust to build up, but
yeah.
Let's get away from that. Just don't do it anymore. So here's my roster question before we get into Great American Bash from NXT.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is Keith Lee?
He posts some stuff on social media once every couple of weeks, but he's not letting people know why he's home. He's still employed, but he's not letting people know if it's an injury or if it was a sickness or what.
Let's get this out of the way. It's clearly not COVID, which is what I think some people were kind of thinking at first because it just happened out of nowhere.
Right.
So not COVID related.
Well, because I think Mia got COVID.
Right. But even then, your quarantine ends after 2 weeks, so hypothetically, you should have been done with that. So it's one of two things. Either A, he's being groomzilla and completely focusing on this wedding he's planning with Mia Yim, or B, there is no fucking reason. And he's just home. Because if there was an injury, it would have been reported by now. By somebody somewhere, it would have been out there. If it was an illness, again, it would have been out there by someone somewhere.
Yes and no.
I don't get it.
It's because here's the thing. Like, I have a old friend from high school that's been suffering from long-term COVID. It's been like a year, and he has to go for like hyperbaric oxygen treatment, same as me, and ultraviolet treatments, and he kept it quiet for a while. So I'm not saying I'm not saying pinpoint that's it, but it could be long-term COVID, COVID related. I just think it was a matter of Vince seeing how over he was in NXT, yanking him up to the main roster without actually watching a regiment of his matches, not knowing what to do with them, and just sitting there going, well, I'll get to him when I get to him.
Hang tight, pal. We'll get to you.
Right. Because he's just like, well, he's supposedly had all these great matches with Drew in this other company that we put up on the network. So let's just have him go. And it's like, but the thing is, like, Vince, you yanked him at the fucking pinnacle of where he was in NXT. They put all their eggs in that basket. And then Vince just comes over and kicks the basket down the fucking stairs.
Which makes me wonder how him visiting the PC last week went.
Supposedly it went positive, and fucking now they're looking at other people and shit, and that's why Odyssey Jones had a fucking dark match with Bobby Roode. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, here comes Vince coming into the garden. Just what Jim Cornette said. He was like, Vince came with his chef and his harvester and all that, came through the garden to pick new things to make a new stew.
Let's see what the fuck we got here. I'm sorry. If you were watching on YouTube, I apologize for that horrible impersonation of Vince Wall. You got
I blew out both my quads.
Oh, no, that's when he runs. That's when he runs and dives. The run and dive. The walk, he's fine. It's the run and dive we got to worry about with him. Never again. Never again.
That's still the most priceless moment ever of Vince sitting in the ring like a child, all mad.
It's between that and Titus tripping over himself and diving under the ring at
World Slide.
Okay, Great American Bash NXT MSK beats Ciampa and Thatcher. I don't have a problem with that. I'm just not a huge fan of the roll-up finish or small package, whatever it was.
I don't think it did anything to elevate either team.
Neither do I. They really just went out there to have a good match, but then the finish just left me bland. Just I don't know. I don't know what it accomplished, honestly.
It's like all
Then
they're
we had
doing
it-
is like, by the way, Ciampa and Thatcher are mechanics. Like that's
Right.
all they're doing is flat out saying that.
Then we had the in-ring segment with Regal and Samoa Joe, whatever. Basically, they booked
I
Gargano
smell
Cross for
screwjob.
the NXT title
I smell screw job.
on Cross.
Yes, because
With-
Vince wants him on the main
Yeah.
roster. I smell not Montreal, but I smell screw job, and I smell Samoa Joe fucking over Cross and helping Gargano win the fucking title next week, so they can yank Cross up to the main roster.
We'll keep that in mind for next week. I will not give you a reaction because I don't think I have a really appropriate one right now because you just sprung that on me and I don't know what to think about it. We'll come back to that next week and see if you were correct. So Cameron Grimes has become LA Knight's version of Virgil. That's great.
Yeah, now we're gonna get a bunch of mid South fucking vignettes, like when fucking Baby Doll had to be fucking what's his name, fucking like barman, Dusty's barman and shit.
Jimmy Garvin.
Oh, Jimmy Garvin and Baby Doll had to be Dusty's farmheads.
Right. Zoe Stark and Io Shirai, new women's tag team champions. Partial thanks to Tegan Knox.
Okay, here's where we go. All right, because I fucking said it to you, and now I'm going to get into it. Tegan Knox is 18 different levels of failure. This whole shit with the fucking battery charging for weeks, just for it to be someone who's already fucking been there, and literally the lights come up, and she's just standing there like, man, in a fucking flannel shirt. And she's like, and then she's like, oh, I'm going to come down to the ring. Oh, by the way, I have to take off my flannel and tie it around my waist. And then give the weakest fucking beatdown to Candice LeRae. It was worse than Divas era Braun panties matches fighting. It was terrible. And it took away from the fact that we just got new women's tag champs. Because now we're focusing on Tegan Knox versus Candice LeRae until fucking Midget Nash blows out her fucking quads and is gone for another year.
You done?
Yes. Fuck Tegan Knox.
On the other hand, after the match, Dexter Lumis picked up Indy Hartwell and carried her backstage.
The reunion of Index.
Yes. I don't know why.
Keep Indy Hartwell out of the ring.
I don't know why I like that storyline so much. I think it's us. It's Dexter. It's fucking Dexter.
Yes. Anything to keep Indy Hartwell out of the ring because she is still god awful. And thank God they took the fucking tag belts off her.
We know your opinion of that, so we'll just go ahead.
She's terrible.
So then we had basically the Hit Row rap celebration, and then the main event, Cole and O'Reilly. Cole getting the win. We all saw Cole getting the win. Were you snoozing because of the rap celebration or the main event?
No, I'm snoozing because of Cole and O'Reilly.
All right. Because that hasn't been done 10,000 times before they got signed by NXT.
Yeah, no shit.
Cole gets the win, so now they're 1-1, which means there's
rubber match.
Yay!
I've been saying it for how many weeks? There's going to be a rubber match. Loser leaves NXT, so they can put Midget Cole on SmackDown for him to job out every fucking week until he's back in catering.
Oh, please don't say they're going to do that to Cole. Come on, that's just too much. No,
that's more than he deserves.
What? Getting jobbed out on SmackDown?
Yes, that's more than he deserves.
Wow.
He shouldn't be on the main roster. He was in NXT for 5 fucking years.
Okay. I'm gonna leave that.
And giving them a half hour was bullshit. It was just finisher for the last like 15 of it.
Well, it was what it was. I mean, Nothing you can do
The
about
Great
that.
American Bash was a Great American bust.
Any Hooser. We now get to the hot list.
Actually, before the hot list.
Oh boy.
Before the hot list. I just want to mention I actually caught last week's ROH TV because they did this. They did the finals of the Survival of the Fittest tournament.
Oh, who won?
It was telegraphed from the beginning, but it was Bandito. So we get Bandito versus Roosh at Best in the Worlds on this Sunday in Maryland. But my only issue was
shot the tag team titles.
Yeah. My only issue was they fucking telegraphed it because what happened was it was a 6-man elimination, and I honestly thought it was going to be Dickinson. I thought Dickinson was going to go all the way in this shit. But literally, the first fucking pin was fucking Bandito rolling up fucking Flamita, and then Flamita attacking Bandito, putting him through the timekeeper's table on the outside, giving him fucking concertos left and right, and Bandito being all blah, 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 blah. And the moment they said that he was still in the match, I'm like, he's going over. Like, that's fucking typical WWE booking. ROH, you're better than this. Sure enough, Bandito comes back at the end to fucking pin fucking Dickinson and fucking Eli Isom. And meh, I like Bandito, but I don't need Bandito versus Roosh.
Which, by the way, how do you feel about Bennett and Gresham for the pure title?
Don't care.
I'm assuming that's your general consensus about Mike Bennett in general.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to double check and make sure.
When I get yelled at and my boys get yelled at for saying don't drop F-bombs at a show, but Mike Bennett goes out there and does it for 10 fucking minutes, fuck that.
I think that was at a show I was at, too.
That was when he worked JT Dunn.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah, I do remember that. I don't remember him saying that to you guys. I just remember what he...
No, that was what Eric and Camaro always told us was you have to clean it up. You can't swear because this is family, blah, blah, blah. And then Mike Bennett's out there, fuck you, you fucking fuck.
Yep. That's right. Anywho, let's get into the hot list. Weekly topic. We do our top 5 list of a category, or not so top 5 in the case of some categories. This week, top 5 dream matches between current Ring of Honor talent and current WWE branded talent. So again, like I mentioned earlier, it can go into the NXT roster.
Yeah, the reason I came up with this was because while I was watching ROH and watching the Survival of the Fittest tournament, I was like, this is actually a good concept. It's, especially because the tournament goes to a 6-way and it's 6-way elimination, the rules. I'm like that, and it's it's like if WWE were to do something like this, or structure Money in the Bank like this, where it's you take people that have never held the title or are not currently in the title picture, it helps elevate people, and that's why I was just like, and plus also, let's face it, a lot of WWE's top talents, they plucked from Ring of Honor.
That is true. All right, so you want to go ahead and start with your... first off, do you have any honorable mentions that you wanted to bring up at all?
Yes, I have 3 honorable mentions.
3?
First one,
right.
Yeah, there was one I forgot. My 3 honorable mentions, Big E versus Brody King.
Okay.
I think that could be a fun, entertaining hoss fight. What do you call it? Silas Young versus Timothy Thatcher.
Okay.
Which I checked and has never happened. Just because they both have that old school hook mentality. And I think that they could, their personalities, I think they could pull off something really nice. And the one that I forgot to list when I texted you was Tony Deppen versus Walter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and start with your number 5.
My number 5 would be PCO versus Sheamus.
Huh.
It's different.
It's different.
It's a hoss fight, a little bit of a gimmick match. Like, I think they would mesh well.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I could definitely see it. I mean, PCO. I think he's got a point where he can basically fit around just about anyone. It seems like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could definitely see. Yeah, I could see it. I can see it. I can see clearly now. Yeah, I got you on that one. All right. So real quick, my honorable mention list. It went from 4 to 3 because one of my honorable mentions is one on your list, so I won't mention it. The 3 honorable mentions I came up with. 2 of them I made honorable mentions because I'll be honest, I didn't do the most thorough homework on this topic.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling these 2 matches may have happened at some point.
Yeah.
Given the length of time that all these guys have been in the business.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, Jay Lethal and Cesaro. I just feel like it's, especially in the older ROH days, it probably has happened. Yep. Another, Taven and Seth Rollins. I'm not sure if that actually happened.
I don't think that has, no.
But I put it on the list. And then another honorable mention. This one was supremely close to getting on my list because of the characters involved. Danhausen, Dexter Lumis.
That would be fun.
Very close. I almost had it on my list. But it was definitely an entertaining thought for me was that match. Number 5, like your number 5, is a hoss match as well. It's 2 guys that are essentially mirror images of each other, really, when you think about their profiles and their physical builds. Shane Taylor, Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
I'd be intrigued to see that, especially given the fact that Bronson has a little more of a free-flowing moveset to him and is willing to fly. Shane not so much, but you know, Bronson with the tsunami. Bronson has shown the ability to work very well with the smaller guys in NXT. So I think using that side of him combined with Shane Taylor just being fucking Shane Taylor, I mean, I just think that would be an intriguing match.
Yeah, I could see that. Definitely.
All right, let's roll to your number 4.
My number 4, a technical classic. Jonathan Gresham versus Cesaro, and it's never happened.
Man. Yeah, because Cesaro got eaten up by the WWE developmental system. I want to say right around the time John was just starting to get those higher end bookings.
Yeah.
So that's why there was never the crossover there. Yeah, that. Well, listen, let me go on a little tangent for a second here. I need to plea. This is something that a lot of people have been pleading WWE for a long time. Can we please allow to have Cesaro get 20 minutes every time he has a match?
Yeah.
Just let the man work.
Yeah.
Because anytime you're putting him in either a squash match like they did in certain parts of his career, or you're putting him in a match to be squashed, you're doing a complete disservice, not just to him and his talents. You're doing a disservice to the real wrestling fans out there that want to see real wrestling. So to me, when you book Cesaro, if it's a TV match, at least give him a 2-segment match. And if it's a pay-per-view match, don't let it be one of those matches where you tell him 20 and then you gotta tell him 12 later on because somebody fucking went over. Let the man do what he's there to do, and that's put on technical classics. All right, let it work, let it flow. Stop fucking him. All right, let him go. All right, my number 4 is I'll be honest, it's a lucha match. But not too lucha. Okay. Again, not sure if this match ever happened. Bandito Santos Escobar.
I don't think it's ever happened. And it could be good.
Now, in all honesty, I was stuck between two people for Santos Escobar in this match. I had Bandito and I had Roosh. The reason I went Bandito is because I feel like that match is a little more truer to Lucha Libre stylistically for the two. Roosh is a little more. He's a little more hybrid Lucha is the best way to put it. He's like a weird mix of like Lucha, some ground and pound, like kind of MMA kind of stylings in a way, but not really MMA. So I felt stylistically Bandito was a little more of a correct fit for Santos in that match. But Roosh was also a consideration for that spot. But I went with Bandito.
Yeah. By the way, I checked. It's never happened. Yeah.
Sweet. There we go. Yeah. Now your number three is the reason I did Bandito Santos Escobar. So, good sir. The floor is yours for number three.
My number three is Lucha style, and it can be pure Lucha but grounded as well, and that would be Bandito versus Ricochet. Because obviously Ricochet can work Lucha style. He learned that. He learned doing that in fucking Lucha Underground. And what do you call it? Bandito does a good hybrid style, and I think the two of them could pull off something special. I think everyone's about how amazing Ricochet versus Will Ospreay was. Now, Ricochet and Bandito would be better.
I agree. And the only reason, let's put it this way, the only reason Ricochet and Will Ospreay was as hyped up as it was is because the shit they were doing then wasn't as commonplace at that point as it's become now.
Dude, the greatest thing in the world
is at the brink of that style exploding like it has.
The greatest thing in the world is you can find it. I know I've seen it on Facebook, and you can probably find it on YouTube. Is Jim Cornette doing the commentary for that match? It's only like a minute long, where it's just like the opening spot. He's like, and then a cartwheel, and they still got the robes on. Fuck Will Ospreay, I'm done with this.
Yeah, that sounds like Jim. Number three is a tag team match for me. I decided to get a little. Oh, that's funny. You have a tag team match coming up as well. Son of a bitch. Number three is a tag team match for me. And I just want to see four dudes beat the shit out of each other. And the easiest example I could think of for that was the Briscoes against Ciampa and Thatcher.
Yeah, that'd be. Yeah, I could dig that.
I just want to see four guys just beat the shit out of each other, but do it with common sense chemistry added into it. Obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that's a bookable match.
Yeah. On that note, I haven't watched it yet because it just aired on my last night on my DR. But ROH actually doing their first cinematic match.
Oh, the farm match, right?
Yeah, the Briscoes fight on the farm.
They went down to good old Sandy Fork, Delaware.
That's their actual family farm, too. Like, they're legit chicken farmers.
Their farm takes up 5% of the state of Delaware, probably. Y'all know Delaware ain't all that fucking big. Yeah. And basically, if you're on the Delaware Bridge for 5 minutes, you go through the entire state of Delaware.
Yep.
Been there, done that. It's tiny. It's fucking tiny. 1 minute you're in Jersey, next minute you're in Maryland, and you wonder where the fuck Delaware went.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Go ahead with your number 2, man.
So my number 2, tag match, very close, but I would love to see a good old brothers versus brothers. I want to see the Briscoes versus the Usos.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, because I mean the Usos are homegrown WWE, but they would look at home in Ring of Honor.
Agreed. Now, remind me, before I get into number 2, which involves one of the men I'm about to mention, and forgive me for not being completely up to date on Ring of Honor, Dickinson and Brody King together, right?
Yeah, Dickinson, Brody King, Homicide, and Tony Deppen. That's right, Violence Unlimited. Yeah.
I just thought of one off the top of my head, not on my list, obviously. King and Dickinson versus the Viking Raiders.
That'd be nice. Yeah,
just off the top of my head,
that'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Number 2. Speaking of Brody King, I have a Haas match, a Lucha match, a tag match. So now I want 2 tall guys. Brody was the first guy I thought of for ROH. So I went with Brody. On the other side, I'm thinking, obviously, Omos, no. Aziz, fuck no.
Oh, no, not today.
Who the fuck is tall? Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
As long as you don't contain Drew to the WWE style and let him go, like, if you let him go ICW Drew Galloway against Brody King, 2 thumbs up.
Definitely.
All right, sir, what is your number 1?
So my number 1, and I checked, and technically this match did happen. It happened at some tiny-ass indie with like 40 people. The match lasted 4 minutes and ended in a DQ. So it doesn't fucking count.
Given the match, it doesn't shock me, but go ahead.
So the match that I want to see... Yep. The match I want to see the most, if the matchup between the 2 companies would be Chris Dickinson versus Karrion Kross. Because they work so fucking similar. And they are both so freaking intense. That would just be so freaking badass.
So, I totally agree. I was just trying to look up something quick for my number 1. So, my number 1 has apparently happened in tag team competition.
Okay.
But has not happened in singles competition.
All right.
We now get to a pure wrestling match. Exclamation on the word pure, by the way. Jonathan Gresham, Pete Dunne.
Yes. I was thinking Gresham and Dunne originally, but I wanted Gresham and Cesaro and stuff, but yes, definitely. Definitely.
And I think, in my mind, if you're going to take somebody from NXT UK, the first guy I think of is Tyler Bate. Gresham and Tyler Bate. Trent Seven potentially, but Tyler Bate's the one that... speaking of NXT UK, since we just finished our list, real quick, after we recorded our previous episode, I got to watch NXT UK, which reminds me I need to check out this week's episode. But I watched it for the first time after our last episode, and I'm sold. I'm completely sold. Like
they just need crowds again.
Right. That was the only thing that was like, when I can say that canned noise, given the pandemic, when I can honestly say canned noise was the only thing that bugged me about that entire show. Obviously, it's a winner. So, yeah, I need you have congratulations. You sold me on something else. You sold me on fuck AEW, and now you've sold me on watching NXT UK. Congratulations. And also LSD. That was the other thing you sold me on. And if you don't know what LSD is, you need to go back to a previous episode. You gotta go back to the previous episode to understand what LSD means. It's a running inside joke from now on.
I sold him LSD.
I'm seeing all kinds of pretty colors, man. That being said, any
Here,
parting?
put these on.
Whoa. The red pill or the blue pill? That being said, any parting thoughts before you hit up the city of Philadelphia? Which, by the way, not gonna lie, a little jealous. Because you already talked about going to Tony Luke's. Fuck you.
Yeah. I'm introducing Shell, the producer girl, to Tony Luke. She's never been. And luckily, because I get early entry into the arena, we don't have to worry. We can actually stop there. We get to check into our hotel, go to Tony Luke's. Oh, and on the way, we're taking a 15-minute detour and stopping at the only Tim Hortons in Jersey for coffee in the morning. Get me some Timbits. Yes.
Timbits.
It's going to be a good day.
Good shit. Well, I'm happy for you that you're getting to have this trip. Well, obviously, we're going to need a full report of the good, the bad, and the ugly, which I'm sure
baby.
You'll have no problem telling me the good and bad and the ugly. Yeah.
Well, because the killer is that they announced this show. This is, what do you call it? It's Battle Riot, which is basically like the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
Except 40 men, elimination by over the top rope, pin, or submission. And the winner is basically Money in the Bank. So, like, Rumble and Money in the Bank combined into one. So, anything can happen.
With pinfalls and submissions.
Yeah.
Which is it's a very intriguing wrinkle to add in.
It's an original Battle Royale. Battle Royales didn't used to be over the top rope.
True. Well, thanks again to our friends at Mohawk Honda for sponsoring the show. Yeah, I think that does it. So, yeah. That's JJ Alexander. I'm Brian Cady. And, yeah, this has been another episode of White Heat Wrestling Podcast presented by Godzilla Media. And we'll catch you on the next episode, as I believe that'll also be the go home for Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
So we'll have to get knee deep into that. Plus, I know I teased this last week, but we've already gone 2 hours. I will make sure we don't have too much news to cover, so we can touch on this WWE 50 greatest tag teams list. Because
we didn't even touch on that shit.
I know that you were pissed about it last week. I'm still pissed about it this week, especially when I found out one specific team on the top of my head that didn't make it, but the fucking Bushwhackers made it. That said, that's JJ. I'm Brian. We'll catch you next time. TTFN.
Later.
Ta-ta for now.